So the question today is, who's lying? So yeah, we're going to be talking about this one right here. It's CD Projekt Red versus Keanu Reeves, because this is the headline. It says, Keanu Reeves says he's never played Cyberpunk despite CD Projekt Red saying he loved it. So what in the world is going on with this story? Honestly, I think there's some misquoting going on here, and yeah, I'll explain in just a moment, but it's definitely interesting. Plus, we're going to be talking about, guess what, Assassin's Creed. There's some absolutely cool stuff happening around Assassin's Creed with Valhalla. They're making a brand new expansion, and then also they've got this free crossover thing between Odyssey and Valhalla. It's pretty cool, so we'll talk about that, as well as, yes, we're going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy in this video, because it looks like we could be getting brand new trailers for that, even gameplay very, very soon. And we're going to also talk about, guess what, Bully 2, because apparently we're going to be getting some sort of reveal. It was supposed to be happening at Video Game Awards, never did. But let's dive into, first of all, the Cyberpunk 2077 news, starting with this headline right here about how Keanu Reeves says that he never played Cyberpunk despite CD Projekt Red saying that he loved it. This comes from that new Verge interview. Maybe some of you have seen it, where he was being interviewed about, of course, the Matrix Resurrections. Excuse me. I cannot freaking wait for this new Matrix movie. I hope it's good. But he also was asked questions about, guess what, Cyberpunk, and let's get into this. It says, but when asked if he plays video games himself, he offers a quick, direct one-word answer, no. When asked in a follow-up, even Cyberpunk, he responds, no, I've seen demonstrations, but I've never played. So that's really interesting because, of course, it contradicts what CD Projekt Red has said in the past. It says this, now compare that with what Kinski told investors in CD Projekt Red's third quarter earnings call. Translated by Seeking Alpha, a question from an unknown source emerges later in the call. Has Keanu played the game? Kinski says, yes, he played the game, but as far as I know, he hasn't finished it yet. So, but definitely, he played the game and he loves it. Now, of course, there could be some miscommunication going on here between the PR people to the board members to whatever. Keanu Reeves might have sat with the game for a little bit, gone hands-on with the first intro or something like that. Who knows? Played it for a little bit. And then he goes on to say that he never really played it fully. You know, there's so many things going on with this, in my opinion. It could be just mistakes going on. However, CD Projekt Red is speaking on behalf of Keanu Reeves. I'm curious to see what he has to say about that. He's so chill, honestly. I think he would be like, this is no big deal at all. But let's get into the actual replies from the community right here. We got to zoom in here. It says he probably just watched someone play a bit of it and he loves it, or he himself played a bit of it when he was at CD Projekt Red in Warsaw, but meant to say, I don't play games in my private time, with his sentenced in this interview, excuse me. Yeah, and you got to remember, maybe Keanu Reeves has also seen the poor reception to Cyberpunk, and he's like, no, I've never played it. God, I was not involved with this. Who knows? That could also be a thing that he is thinking there, but I'm just speculating. Then we have Brandman, who says this, here's the CD Projekt Red quote. He played the game, but as far as I know, I haven't finished it yet. So, but definitely he played the game and he loves it. And then we have a follow-up reply here from Domino Jones Jr., who says this should be the top comment. Everyone is pivoting the fact you can love a game without playing it, but CD Projekt Red blatantly said he did play it. So either Keanu has memory loss or CD Projekt Red are once again lying. Oh boy, they're on the hot seat once again. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Then we have Chainsaw Romance, who says this dude could have literally picked up the controller for 1 minute to move V around and then watch demonstrations of the game, and they could say he played it, but maybe he did love what he saw of the game. Doesn't mean everyone is lying to you if there's a misunderstanding of what he played it meant to the individual whom said it. Now, we have an actual follow-up reply to this. Check this out right here. It says right here, Mercedes, our new car is amazing. Lewis Hamilton drove it and said he loved it. Lewis Hamilton, I have never driven this car in my life. He probably just sat in the driver's seat, grabbed the steering wheel for a few seconds, then he watched a video of the car being driven around, and thus they could say he drove it, and maybe he did love the seat, the steering wheel, and the video. Doesn't mean everyone is lying to you if there's a misunderstanding of what he drove it meant to the individual whom saw it. I thought that was an interesting follow-up reply right there. My God, shots fired. The conversation has definitely heated up here. And then we have Error, who says this: you can love a game without playing it. And this is actually true. I'm going to expand on this in just a moment. It says, I love Dwarf Fortress. I have no idea how to play it, but I've watched hours and hours of videos of others playing it. And you know, I remember when I streamed The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2, my girlfriend watched pretty much all of it, and she absolutely loved it despite not playing it. She says the one game she always remembers watching me play was The Last of Us. So it's very possible to love video games without actually playing them, and that's perhaps what Keanu Reeves was actually trying to say, and I completely understand that 100%. All right, now it's time to talk about this other subject that's going around in the Cyberpunk community before we get into the Assassin's Creed stuff. But check this out right here. It says, wouldn't it be better if clothes were purely cosmetic, like they just give you look, and all the armor and stuff goes from body modifications? It would go nicely with style is everything, in my opinion. It's kind of worded strangely there, but I get what he's saying. He's saying that he would prefer that any items you pick up in the world not have any type of stats attached to them, that you can just wear whatever you want, and that through body modifications and cyberware and that sort of thing, then you would get those additional bonuses. A lot of people really want to see this, it seems. Perhaps they could add this into some sort of update down the road. I wouldn't hold your breath. Maybe through DLC they can improve that system, but you know, the vanilla game, in my opinion, is what it is right now. Now we have this right here. It goes on to say this: playing naked should give a bonus. And then Demon Song says distraction +5. That would actually be hilarious. Wouldn't that be something else if they add that into the game? Now we have Silent Palpatine, who says, yes, it would. I want a certain look, but all the buffs are on completely mismatching pieces, so I look like a hipster hobo most of the time instead of the suited and slick assassin I want to be. So it's definitely an issue, in my opinion, when you are not wearing what you want to wear in an RPG and you have to just specifically go after stats. I absolutely hate that. So I think the system definitely needs to be improved in the future, maybe for the DLCs again. Cyberpunk 2, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we got to talk about this one right here, because Hogwarts Legacy was supposedly supposed to be shown at the Video Game Awards. And we have this supposed leak. It says this: ACC NGT guy who correctly leaked out Star Wars Eclipse says we should expect a trailer for Hogwarts Legacy very soon. It goes on to say this: anyway, things got moving for Hogwarts Legacy today. I'm expecting the trailer very soon. I'm dying to see more of this game. The first trailer is absolutely jaw-dropping in my opinion. I really hope it delivers. It is being developed by a very talented studio, the guys that brought us Mad Max open world game and of course Just Cause franchise. And I think there's other developers involved, but it looks like it could be very, very promising, and I hope that it is as well. Now we also have another leak here from Tom Henderson, who says Bully 2 was expected as a potential surprise reveal at the Game Awards last week, after some people have been shown some material alluding to a reveal soon. Information is a bit blurry at the moment, but I have to be quite vague here. But if I hear more, I will report on it. Furthermore, he goes on to say the following about this one. He says this right here: some people saw a playable version just a couple of weeks prior to the Game Awards. Like I said, information is blurry at the moment, but I thought it was worth reporting on, as there's something definitely going on to do with the series. Who wants to see more Bully? Do you think that is something that Rockstar should be working on, or do you want to get straight to GTA 6 or, you know, like Midnight Club? I want to see more Midnight Club. That's one franchise I absolutely feel like Rockstar is neglecting, but that's my own opinion here. Then we have another supposed leak here about Bully 2 right here. It says Story 2, new Story 2 coming very soon. I think that's what it says there, but I guess he's also a supposed leaker about all this. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Bully 2, but it's always been in the news with leaks and stuff. There was also a rumor that was completely canceled. I don't know. I feel like there's purposeful misinformation about this one. And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Bully 2. Now, what about Assassin's Creed? My God, they're doing a lot of stuff with Assassin's Creed lately. They're still supporting Valhalla. We're getting Dawn of Ragnarok, which the cinematic trailer looks really, really cool. I know a lot of people feel like it's going so far away from what Assassin's Creed is or was, but let me know if you still enjoy the series. You know, the sales for Assassin's Creed Valhalla show that there is definitely still an audience there. Valhalla is by far the most successful Assassin's Creed game, and they're going to continue updating it. But yeah, I do love the actual look of the cinematics right here, and I'm curious to see what they do in 2022 with this one. But they also did something interesting here with Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla merging together in a crossover story. This is really cool in my opinion. These are very short stories that interconnect both games. So if you play Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you'll get these stories on each game. New islands, new weapons, all sorts of stuff, and of course, returning favorite characters from Odyssey and Valhalla actually meeting up. This is free. Check it out if you want to. Come back to me. Let me know what you think of it. But I think this right here is kind of an indication of where they want to take Assassin's Creed as a whole, especially when it comes to Assassin's Creed Infinity. So I wouldn't be surprised if Assassin's Creed Infinity behaved in the same way, where they're trying to interconnect stories and constantly update each game on one universal platform. That's something that I would honestly be expecting for the future of Assassin's Creed, especially when we're talking about Infinity. But some cool stuff going on with Assassin's Creed that I definitely wanted to talk about. But yeah, now it's time to go over your top comments. Let me pull up my most recent video about Cyberpunk, because you guys have some things to say about that one. So let's get this pulled up right now, shall we? So yeah, this was my most recent video right here. It says, Cyberpunk, this is huge news for the game and its future, but what about us gamers? So if you did not hear, Cyberpunk is going through the class action lawsuit, but it's kind of in a suspended state because they're going to try to reach a settlement with the investors. So it's not going to go to a courtroom, it seems. It looks like investors will pull out ahead, and then CD Projekt Red will be in the clear. This is good news for the developers, the guys that need to stay focused and work on Cyberpunk and the future of the game. But overall, you know, for us gamers, it's not so good because it basically tells any other publisher, hey, we can screw over the gamers still. You know, we just got to do settlements. Anyway, let's see what you guys had to say about this. We have Mikkel, who says this: the developers knows more about when a game is ready for release than the higher ups and shareholders ever will. Yes, and it looks like CD Projekt Red is finally getting in tune with this. Sam H says, really appreciate you keeping the news coming, man. I still have hopes for Cyberpunk 2077, maybe a fool's hope, but it's there, and I'm so glad you keep the news going. Not many do. You're welcome, man. I'm trying. We'll see what happens in 2022 with this game. I'm very, very curious if they can pull off some sort of miracle with this one. JIOSD says, if CD Projekt Red had delayed their game long enough as it took them now to get it in better shape, they'd be in a much better place, no doubt. 100% agree with you on this one. He says, glad to see it's still playable and loved by others, including myself, but we still can't dismiss the obvious. I'm still remaining optimistic, though. They have a reputation to rebuild, and I'd like to see how they bloom over the dead leaves they left. Yeah. Can they pull it off? Can they pull off the what we're calling the No Man's Sky miracle? We'll have to see. Now, we have another comment here from Monica, who says, I personally absolutely love Cyberpunk. I still play it because I'm trying to get 100% LOL, but it won an award in Japan. That's okay. They love it, LOL. It didn't win an award here in the US, and that's okay too. Yeah, you know, if you think it's Game of the Year, that's cool. I do think there's some absolutely redeeming qualities to this game, don't get me wrong, but a Game of the Year is, with how it launched, it's a stretch to me, you know? Especially when we're talking about PS4 and Xbox One base versions. That's, to me, a big issue right there. How those turned out is just like criminal, especially at launch. Now we have Thamoxinol, who says, so long as the investors are satisfied, the company can do whatever it wants. Screw over the players, all good in the hood. Screw over the investors, it's okay. So long as you can pay the dissatisfaction fee, It says, yeah, the game can be cool, but if you can pay for games by companies screwing players to make a profit, then you're consisting consenting, excuse me, to them screwing you. Boycott these big companies abusing their power until they change their ways. And one way you can do that is by not pre-ordering. That simple. Don't pre-order the games, and this will happen less and less. Will people stop pre-ordering? No. You know, the flashy cinematic trailers just catch people. And also, you know, in this case of Cyberpunk, it was definitely a unique situation because CD Projekt Red did actually make one hell of a game, and that was The Witcher 3. So I don't even fault anyone for pre-ordering Cyberpunk. But now we know. Now we know. We'll see what happens in the future with pre-order numbers, but I'm sure it's going to just remain the same story over and over again. But there it is, everyone. The latest happenings around Cyberpunk. We talked about Hogwarts Legacy, and then also Bully 2. That's right, yes. And yes, Assassin's Creed, which I'm personally curious about this Dawn of Ragnarok type DLC. But anyway, there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Remember, leave your comments down below. They could end up in a future video. I will see you all next time. Take care.